Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another Rated TK podcast. You guys have seen this guy all around the city of St. Louis, internationally known for his food reviews and just highlighting local businesses in St. Louis. He really has put the foodie scene on the map here. I have no other introduction for you besides that. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks,
he's a great husband. He's a great uncle. We have seen these videos time and time again with him in it, collaborating with other people across the city. I have Braden STL with us today.
Bro, thanks for having me on. And before we jump into it, I guess it does make me a great husband that I bring my wife to one of the hottest restaurants in St. Louis.
This is facts.
So
this is facts. The only time she's seen is at Rated.
Yeah.
I have never seen her go to any other restaurant.
Dude, she's about the good food, the good life.
Listen,
you know?
She has high standards, okay? That's great. She has high standards.
I noticed she's come back.
Numerous times.
Yeah.
Every time we change the menu, she's here.
Yeah, I gotta come back soon.
Yeah, you guys owe us another revisit.
But yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, definitely.
What can I look forward to today?
So we are diving into a little bit of, so this podcast, for those of you that this may be your first time watching it, we talk about food and hospitality, whether it's your restaurant owner or you impact the restaurant or food industry. Just wanted to have people come on, talk about the industry, see what they can do to help, see what needs to be helped in the industry just to make our food scene a little bit better here in St. Louis. And so I really wanted to highlight business owners and entrepreneurs that really help to thrive and push up the food hospitality industry. And so that's why I chose you today.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah. You're doing a hell of a job at it, dude.
Dude, we set the bar, man.
Yeah.
We
seriously
set standards, and it's we have these $1,500 phones and social media is free. So I saw that opportunity, man.
Yeah. So if you can remember, what was your first video that you published?
Oh yeah. The very first video, it's funny. I'm going to a soccer game today. Very first video, well, like at least on Instagram from Braden STL, it was part of the City SC campaign. It was in front of Ted Drew's. I think it only had like 1,000 views. Yeah. Which at that time was a lot.
Yeah.
You know? But first, man, during the pandemic, I would do food reviews, but like more positive, right? So like people weren't going out to eat. So they'd be like a 5-7 minute long video. I'd showcase like, hey, this is what it's like to go back out to eat. Because at a point in our life, like we did not dine inside of a restaurant, right? So I started off like, hey, I went to this restaurant. This is what I tried. And if they let me get in the kitchen, I'd highlight that. And then when it came to food, like I can basically tell you if food is great, if it's good or if it's trash. Yeah. So one thing I've learned over the last few years is being more descriptive in how I describe stuff. But at that time I was like, oh, this is, Balkan Treat Box. I took a bite of like their cevape or something. And I was like, oh man, this is like when you watch Wreck-It Ralph and he goes through all the wires to different games. Yeah. Like that was that sensation that the food gave me. Yeah. And then I would also like, after that, when I started doing reels, I would incorporate the music that like I felt like matched the vibe of the place, the service and the food.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's one thing that I really love. And I think that's what kind of separates your content is that it's a journey. It's not just a video highlighting a restaurant. Like there's a story. You're telling a story, whether it's the way that you cut the edits or it's the way that you have the music flowing with it. Like it's a story behind it. And I kind of think that you're more of like on the storytelling end of what you do, and your content really like captivates that. Like you're telling the story, like even the series that you did about the dairy and the coffee. It's like, this is telling the story of how this whole process, a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people typically don't get to see. And I think that's great. What's one of your favorite videos that you've posted so far?
Oh man, that's tough. I make nothing but bangers, man. No, I'm just kidding. Favorite video, man.
I know this is a hard question. It's like someone asking me what's my favorite dish to make. Yeah, I can never answer it.
I would say like my top 3 favorite videos have been my top, what was it like when I reflect on the year, those videos are my favorite. Gotcha. So I would say 2021, 2022, 2023, those videos where I reflect on the year, those are my favorite because
it captures everything in that year.
Everything. So I'm looking back. Besides that, man, like literally I'm on to the next thing. Like yesterday was a Blues game. This morning I was at the Fox for something. Then I had some meetings. Tonight's a soccer game. Fridays or Thursdays a gala, whatever. So my mind's always on to something. Yeah. And then when I make those videos, I can actually sit back, relax, reflect. Exactly. Like I don't care to that week between Christmas and New Year, I don't really care. Like I'm chilling. Yeah. So those are my 3 favorite. Maybe last year's December 31st
Really?
is probably when I dropped it. That was probably my favorite.
Gotcha. No, I love that. And once again, it comes back to that storytelling. It's like, it's telling the journey that you went on that year. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of, we're going to jump topics a little bit. A lot of business owners forget to tell the story. Like, a lot of people want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see how you got to this point. They want to see that. What's a piece of advice that you could give a business owner, whether it's in the food or hospitality industry or any other industry, that you can give them to kind of allow their content to be different? Because a lot of times when we're in this pool, we kind of see a lot of replicating content,
all the
where
time.
there's people that either replicate events or they replicate content that they've seen and try to reproduce it. But how do you stay original?
See, that's a really good question there, because it's like everyone wants to it seems like when I observe, everyone copies each other.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'm just like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be original.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, I would just tell them, be themselves, don't just jump on a train because everyone else is. Like, who cares? I get invited to like some places right when they open, and I do want to go, but then I know if I go, it's going to be, everyone's going to post the same exact thing.
There's 5 other creators that are going to be doing the same video you're doing.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
When I start seeing it, I'm scrolling out. I'm like, I don't want to see this. Like, I don't want to see the same thing. And that's what has always like challenged me. Like sometimes I go on streaks, where I'm not posting that much because I'm like, I've been able to, Dante, myself, even with what you do, you start setting a trend.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see other people adapt to it, but then it's just like almost the same exact thing. So you're like, I got to be different. So
exactly.
How can I switch this up? How can I switch that up?
Yeah.
But the big thing is just be yourself, find inspiration in different things. Sometimes you're like, okay, well, I'm looking to start doing content. I'm not a good photographer, videographer. And I've always told people I'm not the best photographer. I'm not the best videographer, but you got to get started somewhere.
Exactly.
And so like, you're not going to be Michael Bay or whoever making Tyler Perry.
Making Transformer movies.
If you don't start.
So exactly.
I think in the restaurant industry, and if whoever's listening, whether you're in St. Louis or anywhere in the world, the toughest thing is making that recipe. And you're doing that.
Yeah.
Just put your phone up. You have that $1,500 phone you're paying for. Just put that up. Maybe even turn on a little ring light if you have to. But that's not even a big deal. The biggest thing is just putting it out there.
Yeah. No, seriously.
You're gonna grow. It's fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I've seen on social media, as long as I've been on social media, is that honestly, the content that has the most production value behind it doesn't get received as much. Like literally some of the cooking videos that I see is literally someone like with a tripod, if they even have a tripod, or just holding their phone cooking, because people, it relates to them and it's relatable. And I think that is what kind of set the whole influencer scene apart from the commercials. Like there's not restaurants spending thousands of dollars on advertising or commercials anymore. Most of the time what they're doing for advertisements, they're reaching out to influencers like yourself to create.
I don't know if they're reaching out to us.
That's true.
Yeah, they're reaching out to. I think they reach out to agencies who sell our services and our talent and our time, but we don't see a dollar a lot of times. Yeah, with that.
So how would you, if you had the ideal setup from me as a business owner to get in contact with an influencer or to set up an event to get an influencer, like how does that process look or work, or how should it be structured?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So like, let's say you get an agency, if someone is selling you on influencer marketing, you should allocate some of those funds to pay a creator. Like, when we're working with local businesses, we understand the margins aren't going to be there all the time. If they have an investor, maybe it's $100 or maybe it's nothing this time. Yeah. I think when you're that agency and you have connections, whether with alcohol companies or other places, hotels, whatever, maybe you can't pay that creator on this local business here, but hey, you can have this other person sponsor that creator in another way. Exactly. Like you don't always have to pay them every time. And it comes down to like expectations. Like some people are like, hey, love what you're doing, come in, have a good time. Yeah. And like that, it's like, we don't need payment. Yeah. We don't have to have that. And I'll always tip. How many times have I been like, hey bro, what's your cash app? I'll tip your staff. But yeah, so I would say if you're like the agency, if you're going to build that client for influencers, make sure the creators are going to get paid and make sure that value is there for you. Cause you may just be able to reach out to a creator themselves and like, hey, come to my restaurant.
And that's what I was going to say. I think that as a business owner, it has been extremely valuable for me to have the relationship with the influencers like yourself, because when you're dealing with a third party person, there's things that may get dropped. Like if I'm dealing with an agency, I don't know if they compensated you this time, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that may be missed on my end because I've hired this agency. Whereas like I could have just hit you up directly and could have been like, hey, bro, I really want to treat you to dinner. I want you guys to experience this, but I want you to share with your following, you know? And, you know, and then like that's the relationship that I think a lot of people are missing right now.
Yeah.
Because, and I was talking to Brittany about this on the last podcast episode, that a lot of business owners don't understand the impact of social media and marketing. What is something that you would give, or a piece of advice that you would give to someone that's just starting a business that may not know how to get into the marketing or to get into the social media, like advertising? Like, what's a piece of advice that you would give them starting off?
Or I would say more in that perspective is like, you see that billboard for half a second when you're driving, right? So what's different of someone posting a picture on their page, except for it's going to cost you quite a bit less.
Yeah.
You know, you see a commercial, or you don't really see a commercial. You hear a commercial when you go to the bathroom. That's if you watch TV, right? Well, that creator has these people's attention. You know, it's like when you watch a movie and you see the Anheuser-Busch, the Budweiser, and they're like, you have the person's attention. So like my piece of advice is just, you know, it's just changing that perspective. I think when I first saw influencers in Vegas, I was like, oh, I'll never be that. I never want to be that. I still like, I'm just like, I'm a St. Louis hype man. I'm Braden. If you get influenced to go out, have a good time, live your life, great. But I think it's just like, you got to change that perspective because it's marketing. These people are going to, I mean, there have been so many places that I've partnered with that they've seen, you know, returns on their investment 3 times in literally 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, you got to change that perspective. There's a lot of value. And plus, like, you know, we may help. I don't think I've ever really been paid by like a small business. You know, most of it's just helping them.
Yeah.
But I would say like here in St. Louis, we have a really good community. It's kind of like the scratch my back, I scratch yours. And so,
definitely.
You know, if I were to, I feel like my mind's all over the place, but if I circled back when we were talking about agencies and stuff, one of the problems that's happening is, you know, you as a business owner, if you had a certain agency work with you, they're going to reach out to us creators and say, we need this shot, this shot, this shot, that shot. You need to order one of this, that, this, that, this, that. We're going to need this up within X amount of days. We're going to need you to use these captions, and then we're going to need you to have access to your photos. We're going to, you know, you're basically giving all that up.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like a job?
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like, you know, like for me, the way I handle things is like, okay, look, if I'm coming in with my wife and I'm working for you in that instance, can you at least just give me a gift card to come back and just enjoy the place?
Exactly.
Like that's the big thing, because don't you want me to pick that song that's going to make me feel the vibe?
Exactly.
Don't you want me to be excited about this to where I'm talking about people?
Yeah.
Talking about it. Otherwise it just feels transactional. And I'd rather, you know, spend the $100, you know, in that instance, making that content, working for you.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's using $5,000 camera. Sometimes it's $1,500 phone. That's not free.
Yeah, exactly.
But other times it's like that gift card to come back. Let me be a person, enjoy this. And who knows, you may see me on the regular. But I don't know if that kind of answered that last question. And this
no,
other
it did.
one.
Yeah.
But it's more about, you know, we are leaders, and people look at us for advice. Like there are people I meet all over town. They're like, yeah, literally I see where you go and I only go if you go. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy. But just understanding you can be sold everything nowadays, but it's like, what's the first thing and last thing you do when you wake up, you get on your phone. The last thing you do, you get on your phone.
Yeah.
What are you doing when you have downtime? Probably on your phone.
Exactly.
So why aren't you meeting people where they are?
Yeah.
Who's drumming up your attention? Is it a platform with a lot of followers, but it's all generic stuff? Or is it that creator that's coming up with some creative ass shit? And you're like, I love that. Damn, how did you just tie in Rap Snacks into that video? That was clever. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's marketing, man. It's how you promote yourself. And you don't even have to, like, you're a very outgoing guy, but you don't even have to be outgoing like that.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. I mean, don't be creepy or anything, but
right. No, I think that was great. And I think that's a good segue. Where did you grow up?
South City.
Okay.
South of Cherokee Street, Dutchtown.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So growing up, what was one of your favorite childhood like memories or things that like your parents did that had to do with food? Whether it was a dish that they made, whether it was you coming home with a good report card and your mom treated you to something special for dinner. What was that core memory that you remember? Just one of those memories.
Oh man, every other Friday, payday Friday, as a family, we would like play cards or different kinds of games, like whether it's bingo or just family games, and then we would either get like McDonald's and or at times we'd get like Domino's pizza.
Gotcha.
Like as a family.
Yeah.
But it was like for me, we'd get some of those like Save-A-Lot chips that was like pretty bland, like no flavor at all. And so then like when I discovered Wrap Snacks, they were like that was back in the day when they were like 27 cents. I don't know what they are now. But it was like Wrap Snacks were the most flavorful chips of all time. Yeah. And so like my friends that lived in the county, they're like, hey, can you give me some Wrap Snacks? So sometimes I'd go in and literally just buy like a whole box, take it to school. Here.
Braden STL, the Wrap Snacks dealer of South City.
South City, yeah, you know. So I'd go out to the county school and hook all those like county kids up with what they had. They had like Pretty Willie back then. They had Lil Romeo, Master P flavor. Yeah. Mac 10. I don't even know if people know who Mac. You don't know Mac 10.
No, I don't know Mac 10.
You don't know. I have
that's pre JR.
Pre like we went to Nelly's Black and White Ball and I'm rapping every single word.
I turn around. Braden is literally rapping every song that they're playing. I'm just sitting there like I don't know none of these damn songs they're singing right now. Like.
And that's why I invited you. I was like, you got to see that golden era of St. Louis, man. Yeah.
No, that's dope. That's dope. I think we're going to dive into these Wrap Snacks. So what's this flavor that you picked? Because I know Wrap Snacks has a lot of different flavors. And real quick before we dive into this, Master P has figured out a way to collaborate, which is what we've been talking about this whole entire time. It's like collaboration is very important because you're not only tapping into your market, you're also tapping into the market of the person that you're collaborating with, which is why we do so many things together, which is why Master P is highlighting these different rappers and artists and stuff because you have so much more power when you're able to collaborate with people. And I think it's very important. I just wanted to say that really quick before we jump into these.
Collaboration, guys.
Most definitely.
Don't be stealing ideas. Collaborate.
Collaborate. It's that simple.
So what we have right here, we have the Master P barbecuing with my honey. Now, every so often they change the bags.
Yeah, I was gonna say this bag looks totally different from what I remember.
Yeah, this was Trina the last time. You don't even know Trina.
I don't even know.
All right, Trina before the
pre-JR.
Before Nicki Minaj, Trina was there, and then before her was kind of like Lil Kim. Do you know Lil Kim?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So like she was on these bags, but these are like my favorite, man. I do not like cheese puffs at all because they're usually terrible. They have no flavor. Just tastes like salt. Salty
fake cheesy air.
Fake cheese.
Yeah.
But these, I mean, and off camera, we have so many different bags.
There's
we have
like 15 bags of Wrap Snacks. Like sitting, we couldn't even fit them all on here. We were like, okay, we'll just send them to the side.
Yeah, we gotta look classy. We're rated. But yeah, so like, I mean, the thing about these chips, they have so much flavor. And I had Alex, the owner of Joya's Deli, on my podcast, and I was like, hey, thank you for selling flavorful chips. And he like went in and he was like, oh man, those are the best chips ever, you know? But it's like once people try Wrap Snacks, they realize how great they are. Yeah. But like I said, I don't like cheese puffs at all. But because of these chips, I do. And it's only these chips. Like I don't care to buy chips unless they're Wrap Snacks. Yeah. So if you're a store and you should do a recipe with Wrap Snacks.
I should.
So if you're a store and you're not selling it, you're missing out.
You're missing out. You're missing out on a different clientele.
So we're going to open this?
Yeah.
So, you know, Master P, make them say, yeah, and 9 to 9. So, you know, the way to do this, like, especially when I was growing up, you'd walk down the street, you know, you just eat it, right? Should I wait for a bite or?
Here, dump some on this plate. Dump some on your plate. Yeah, we'll try it together. And what is this flavor? Which flavor is this one again?
This one is the barbecuing with my honey.
Okay.
So this is like that barbecue honey cheese puff. But you know, they got to represent the culture. But like, you know, with these Wrap Snacks, you'd walk down the street chewing on them, eating them, just how you did it. Like nowadays, if I walk and chew just because I'm in a different neighborhood, I'm like, do I do that?
Yeah,
like, you know, like growing up, it was just, you know, you lick your fingers and all that stuff.
That's funny. Cheers.
All right, cheers. The mug's
These are fire. These are fire.
Do you like cheese puffs?
I love cheese puffs. So I want to hear from your perspective. When you go into a restaurant or even if your wife is cooking or your mom's cooking or your dad's cooking, we naturally all rate food, right?
Yeah.
What is the first thing that you think about when you rate food? Is it the appearance? Is it the texture? Is it the smell, the aroma? What is it?
Presentation. Yeah.
Presentation,
so
definitely.
How does it look? Mm-hmm. All right. Man, this looks like it's going to be fire.
Yeah.
So then, the bar's up here. Mm-hmm. So the expectation is high.
Yeah.
But then, if you take a bite of it and you're disappointed, you're like, oh, damn, there's no flavor here.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get something, you're like, oh, that looks a little rough.
And it's full of flavor.
And it's fire.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of like, humans, right? Someone can look really good but have no personality.
Facts.
Some people can be, what society deems not, maybe society deems them ugly. I don't know. But they have a really good personality. So that's the same thing as like food, man.
Shout out to all the ugly people with good personalities out there.
Yeah,
There's someone for you,
I'm ugly, man.
No, these are great. And I'm going to dive in a little bit more in depth on the rating of this, because after you eat it, your mouth starts to like water. Mm-hmm. And so it's
you feel it, yeah.
You feel it. So it's almost like your body like naturally telling you like, oh shit, that's good. I want more of it. You know what I mean? So that's right off the bat. That's what I got.
Yeah.
But then I got the aroma, and it's like, it's smoky, it's sweet, maybe a little bit of heat, but not too much heat, maybe like a paprika or something like that. And it's flavorful. It's like super flavorful compared to a traditional cheese puff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get the balance of it too, because it's sweet, it's salty from the cheese, like it's perfect. Like this is a really good snack. I've had a lot of people on the podcast and they've been bringing me some terrible snacks, but I gotta rate this snack a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10?
Yeah, 9 out of 10, bro. Yeah, it's a good pick, bro. It's a good pick.
Well, what has been let's not.
I don't even want to dive in.
What's the lowest?
The lowest one that we had was the last podcast we shot before you got here. Brittany bought what was the gum? Bazooka bubble gum.
Oh,
bro, it was terrible.
There's no flavor.
There's no flavor. It was extremely sweet. My jaw was hurting from like trying to chew it. I'm like, no, this is not a pleasant experience at all.
Bro, that's a chiropractor's dream,
bro.
Because your jaw gets all
it's
all
like
that.
Bro, it was terrible.
Yeah,
but
no
these are great. These are good. I like these. I'm a fan of these. These are JR approved.
Now, how would you incorporate this in a recipe?
So, another thing too, with these puff type of like snacks, they get stale very fast. Mm-hmm. These are not stale.
Right.
Like these are crispy. The bag is aerated. Like presentation, top notch.
Well, it's like the other thing, you don't really have to chew it.
It just like melts.
You just put it in your mouth. Like, it's like, I got to chew it. So
I was going to say, you go.
Yeah. We don't want to speed up the episode too much.
That's funny.
But it's just so soft. And this is good.
Yeah.
I would say this is, this was my favorite. The other one that he has is the just the honey barbecue. Mm-hmm. That's barbecue chips. Like, I'm not going to, there may be future chip brands I work with in the future. Yeah. So I'm not going to say any names. Yeah, but some of them have a barbecue chip that, you go to most flavorless functions and they're going to have a plain hot dog and they're going to have those chips. And they're like, hey, here you go, the corporate event. Happy.
Exactly.
We appreciate your work. Bro, no, these other ones, I don't care. What is this, $2.50 from the gas station?
It's cheap.
Yeah,
you know what? They need to start selling family-sized bags of fresh snacks. Do they?
No, I mean, like
I don't think I've never seen a bigger bag. They do need to sell them. Yeah.
Master P, if you're watching, you're listening.
Listen, we got a business proposal for you,
bro. I would pay $12 for like a normal size chip. Like quality, man. Yeah. I'll pay for that quality.
No, seriously, and I think that brings us to our next point. Quality. Quality is found in many different forms. But there's also a certain quality that you have to represent in your content. Whenever you're producing content, you can't put out a crappy video because then they're gonna be like, "This isn't Braden's quality." You know what I mean? Like
facts.
You know what I mean? So like, what do you do to stay consistent for one, but then to also make sure that your quality is always there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of times I'll capture much more footage in content than I actually need. Mm-hmm. So, I may have 7 minutes of footage while I'm sitting down for an hour and a half or whatever, but I only use 25 seconds.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize how hard that is, how much of a skill that is.
Yeah.
Because it's think about whoever is sitting at that desk or, in the studio editing the highlights of that basketball game. Mm-hmm. Like they do that literally, they're watching it for 2.5 hours and they got to break it down. Like me,
that's true.
I'm having this dining experience, let's say for an hour and a half. And then, you know, I'm in here and I see something. I'm like, oh, let me get that, you know, like, and it's, but yeah, for me, it's like, okay, what's different? If other people have been in this place, what can I do that's different? I don't want to, I just don't like it. I just don't like doing the same thing as others. It's boring to me.
It is. Like, and I think that is why. So when I came up with the rated concept, I'm like, we have to make sure that we are, not only are we staying on top of our P's and Q's and always staying innovative, but we have to give the guests an experience that's unique and new every time that they come in. Because I feel like we get stagnant a lot, especially in St. Louis. Whether it's with restaurants, whether it's with content, whether it's with our job, like everything just seems like it just kind of plateaus at a certain point. So like we always got to make sure that we're doing new events, make sure that we're partnering with new people, partnering with different venues and stuff like that to stay on top of it. And I think that that's one of the key attributes to the top creators in St. Louis, like yourself, like Dante, like me, is that we are able to stay on top of it because we're able to pivot. And so whenever we see that, you know, things are getting stagnant, we pivot our content a little bit. How have you pivoted over the years from when you started to now with your content?
Yeah, so I started out with photos because I was going to launch on 314 Day in 2020. It's like, hey, this food reminds me of this dish. That later went on to Reels. But like right now, like I can go to 4 different restaurants in a week and each one will have a different style video.
Yeah.
And also it's like, you know, your mental capacity, like what's the week like? Has it been stressful? You know, I've had a corporate job for most of this time. I also have other clients.
Yeah.
Up until last year, May of last year, I was working on my MBA. So like, how busy am I?
Yeah.
And so for me to make sure I'm like consistent, it's like, I always try to get the entrance. And also if there's something that's like super Instagrammable. Yeah. Like I have a 1.5 seconds to get your attention. That's
seriously.
it. You know, it's like a news headline, breaking news. Okay. What is that?
Yeah.
Like I have that. It's such a skill. It's so funny because like places, they don't realize that. They don't realize how much of a skill and how much time you put into your craft. But like for me, I would say, you know, making sure I can get that Instagrammable footage, or, you know, you got to think of hooks nowadays. Like how much,
that's true.
Like, so, and it's funny too, cause like some people are just straight hooks.
Yeah. Like
I've been having hooks lately, but I was like, always throwing like a little bit of a joke to it.
Yeah.
But every time I see a hook, like an intentional aggressive hook, I scroll.
Yeah.
Just like when I start seeing everyone post the same thing, scroll.
Exactly.
And it's funny too, because like a lot of, and that's like kind of a strategy too for people. This is a free strategy. It's going to get you thousands, tens of thousands, maybe more. Don't have everybody go at once when you have something.
Yeah.
Have people stagger it out. Just because if you do that, people will shut off their phone or go to their other app. Like people don't want to see the same thing over and over. No, they
don't. Yeah, they don't.
Even for the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game just happened a few weeks ago, and it was every network had the same thing. And I'm like, I don't want to see that. I've already seen it once. Like, just be different. Yeah.
No, I think that's a great point. I think that's the sentence of the phrase of this podcast episode is be different.
Be different. And be different.
You. Yeah.
Be you. Don't be anybody else.
Yeah, because you are different. Like you are different. Braden's different than I am. Dante's different than I am. Like we're all different.
People think Dante and I are the same a lot of times. I know. I'm like, bro, like they call him Braden. It's like first it would be Braden if you said that correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they'd be like, hey, Dante, and yeah, it's but
like
that's crazy.
They gotta understand like you guys are different because people look up to you. People look down at Dante. So it's like
he's gonna love to edit this one.
He went to the bathroom and he can't hear the audio. Yeah, he can't hear the audio right now. So
we love you, Dante.
Yeah, we love you. We really do. We appreciate it.
But yeah, man, you know, it's lighting. Like to tie it all together, you know, what's the most Instagrammable thing? How is the vibe of the place?
Yeah.
You know, if I have a dish that's not good, I just won't like highlight it. Yeah. Now, if it's something I think that has potential, like, okay, you know, maybe a little more seasoning, you know, I may mention like, hey, I would like that.
Yeah.
But I do that, the aesthetic, voiceover. Some days I'm like, okay, I know this audio is going to pop off, so I'll just use the audio. All of 2023, I was using a lot of St. Louis artists.
Gotcha.
Like whenever I know a video is going to go viral, I won't say which ones are.
Yeah.
But some of the ones I don't talk on, I'll use a St. Louis artist because I know it will go viral. So to help them get that traction. Yeah. But otherwise, like if it's just I go to a restaurant and I don't want to talk, I'll just use an algorithm one.
Gotcha. Okay.
I try to create more for the people than I do for the algorithm, but it's like a constant battle.
Gotcha. Okay. So if you are, if you're talking to a business owner, what is something that they can do to improve what their content looks like from a guest experience, as far as like, hey, your guests are sitting down, they're taking a photo of your food in this restaurant. What can you do as a restaurant owner from your perspective to improve that experience? If
you have a spot with light or open, what's that called? What the hell is that called when like edit this out, Dante? What's that called with the light? Natural light.
Yeah.
I was thinking natural tableware. So I was like, because I was going to talk about the plates
Our
next.
Our partner, Natural Tableware. Today's video is sponsored by Natural Tableware. Head over to the website. No, I'm just kidding.
Are they? Okay. So my mind was like, it's not natural. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so like when it comes to lighting, first that's going to help you because natural lighting, and plus people can see inside your restaurant what it looks like, oh, I need to check that spot out. Yeah. Then presentation, right? You may look at plates like, you've invested in your plates, but it's like people can see that, $3 a plate. I got to get 100 of these. That's a lot. But then you think about how many people are taking photos of that.
Exactly.
So then it's gonna come back, but like people just see that instant, like, the instant expense.
Yeah.
So that, or even if you have like tray baskets, like spending a little bit more on the branding. So if I do take a photo of that sandwich, it says your company's name.
Exactly. Yeah.
So those are two things. And making sure you're consistent. I've been very fortunate. Almost 98% of the time when I go to these local restaurants, everything's consistent.
Yeah.
Can't say that about the chains.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't it interesting though? Like people will go to a chain that messes up their order time after time after time, but you as a local restaurant, you can't mess up.
Yeah,
or they're gonna badmouth you.
Yeah, and it comes down to, and it's crazy because these chain restaurants are set up so that it is consistent. So that's what's crazy about it. But to restaurant owners that may be starting a chain or that want a franchise, like, you have to understand that there's still input that needs to be put in by a human. So like, for example, the industry that we're in, the food hospitality industry, you can get a batch of tomatoes. If you're making like a tomato sauce or something, those tomatoes are not going to be consistent. Right. Even though your recipe still says add a pound of jalapenos, a pound of salt, like the tomatoes are going to taste different because they're grown. Like they're not going to be the same each time. So that's where it's like, yes, you are setting up a chain and you have recipes, but you still need that human input in your final product. Like every time you go to Chipotle, the chicken may taste different. Why does it taste different? Because the chickens are different. They're not the same chicken. You know what I mean? Like the seasoning may have been set out a little bit longer than it was the first time. So it maybe has lost some of the natural oil. So the flavor is lacking. So it's like these different things are things that a lot of people don't look at when they're franchising or starting a chain. It's like you still need that human input. You know what I mean? To make it more consistent. Which is interesting because most of the time they cut all of that out and take away the human input. But just a bit of advice for people that want to, get into the chain or franchise and all that type of stuff. But,
and they add a robot in.
Right. It's like the robot is being consistent in the knife cuts, but when it comes to the taste and the presentation and stuff, there's some things that vary. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I think that's a great point. We're going to jump into another one of Braden's favorite snacks. So Braden, what is your second favorite snack that you have on the board?
We have M&Ms. So the wrap snacks, those are more of that luxury because you can't find them everywhere. But M&Ms, it's more of that treat, right? So sometimes, like let's say after this, I got to go grocery shopping. Yeah. I don't want to go grocery shopping. So what's my treat? M&Ms. Now, it's funny because you go to a grocery store, you spend, I don't know, let's say not for the restaurant, maybe $150 when you grocery shop. Yeah. But there's something about M&Ms, I got to see that yellow tag. I got to see that tag where they act like it's on sale because these things used to be like 59 cents or $2 for $1.
Bro, it's like $3 now. Yeah. I went to Quick Trip and got it. I'm $3.
Yeah, thanks, man. Because I'm
for like 9 M&Ms.
Well, that's my reward for being on this podcast. Like, hey, but no, it's pricey. So, sometimes I got to reward myself like, hey, I need a good M&M.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, the sharing size, like, man, no one's sharing that.
Nobody's sharing
That's
that.
why I got the small one.
Yeah,
I was
nobody's sharing that.
I knew I was going to eat it all.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to get us a sharing size.
No, Braden doesn't share.
They say sharing is caring, but man, I care about y'all.
You just ain't sharing.
Yeah, I just ain't sharing. I got to look out for you, man. You got to be in front of the camera.
That's
you can't be
funny.
Yeah, that's why I don't. I care about you. Don't worry
Braden
about me.
cares. Hashtag Braden cares in the comments down below.
Oh, wrong device. All right.
Yeah,
So,
let's break them open.
do you buy the sharing size or?
It depends, honestly. It really depends. Most of the time, the sharing size is the only size that's available.
So how do you like, when you walk? Yeah, that's how I do. Cause I'm like, your hands everywhere. Some
it's like you don't want the chocolate all on your fingers and no, it's too much work. It's too much work.
All right, here we go.
All right. So we got a couple different ones here. You know what? Are the colors aren't flavors, are they?
Nah, it's not
all
like
the same.
a Starburst. But, it works in marketing because, you get the red and green or you get the Valentine's, the pink, white, red. But it's like my family, they always get it for me around the holidays. Like, and I'm like, I love you. Thank you. I appreciate you. But like, please don't get it because they'll give me the big bag and I eat it all. I have no self-control when it comes to chocolate or ice cream.
That's what happens when you share and you don't care.
Bro, like,
they care, but they don't care. You know what I mean? Like
I care about you enough that I don't want you to take in all this sugar because you're going to crash.
Exactly.
Let me crash. Go live your life. Have fun.
Facts. It's a bit of advice.
Bro.
Right.
I don't
these are great. Like, it hits all the marks for me.
Yeah.
There's texture. They're salty. They're sweet. There's a creaminess to it.
I was gonna say I don't like melted M&Ms unless they can melt it into like those caramel. You know how like some people will melt like that. I don't know, that little caramel chocolate or is caramel chocolate. They'll like melt M&Ms in there. I can't think of it. It's been a while. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Comment it.
Yeah, comment down below because I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, or like you put it in a brownie or something.
Yeah, no, I think these are great. Like for me, it hits all the marks. Like I said. And now my mouth's watering again because you want more of it. It hits the saltiness from the peanut. It has a nuttiness, obviously, from the peanut and the roastedness of the nuts as well. But then there's that outer shell that adds sweetness, it adds a crisp, and then you get the creaminess from the chocolate, and it just kind of balances it out. I think Braden is the only person on the pod that has picked out the two most balanced snacks that he could find. Because, like, he's a professional. He is a true food influencer, and this is what a lot of people miss, is that they try to be influential but they don't know the basics of it.
I think I think a lot of people want to do that. Like I fell into it, man. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna be Braden. Like I get invited to like different events. I'm like, but like, Braden likes to experience it like this.
Yeah.
Like I've done the crowds of 100,000 people in a setting. Like, let me get that VIP.
Yeah.
Put me up on that stage, you know? But yeah, it's man, M&M's. So it's funny. Sometimes, like when I have to travel for the corporate job that I had, I would like if they put me right next. Let's say I'm at a hotel right next to a grocery store. I'll get a little pint of ice cream, and I'll always get like the milk chocolate version. That's the only time I eat the milk chocolate. So when people buy me the milk chocolate M&Ms,
they got to buy you the ice cream with it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it sits there.
Yeah.
That's when it's
Words
a problem.
of advice. If you're going to buy Braden a snack and it's going to be M&M's, the classic M&M's, brown bag, right?
Yeah.
You have to give him a pint of ice cream to go with it. It's that simple.
Yeah. And it's not going to go to waste. Like that's the biggest, y'all are in the restaurant industry. You know, you're worried about waste. It's not going to go to waste with me.
Exactly.
Now I will say one last thing about these. I partnered with Mars. I think it was like last year, Mars Incorporated. It was on like Twix or something.
Gotcha.
And like, I can't remember the whole thing. And I always wanted to partner with Mars because I was like, I want that M&M deal.
Yeah.
One of my buddies partnered with M&M's on a different deal.
Really?
Bro, he was like, I can't even do anything with all this. He would get boxes each, like, I think it's each month. And
Are you serious?
Bro, he had 224 boxes of these and the others. And he gave me both of them with like halfway full. Bro, they were gone in like 3 weeks.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
As much as I would love to partner with Mars, and it probably will happen, I kind of don't.
Yeah.
Because I love their product so much, it'd become a problem.
Yeah. Get high off your own supply.
provided me with medical, health insurance, and then it's a different
Then
game.
it balances it out.
Yeah.
Dental insurance, health insurance. As long as you cover those bases, he's available.
Facts.
No, that's great. So what's a bit of advice that you would give that teenager, that young person that sees you, that follows you, that wants to get into, I don't even want to say the food influential space, but just being influential as a person in general? Like, what's a great starting point? And I know, like, we talked about just getting started, be yourself, but like outside of that, what is a true, like, what do they need to be doing?
So like a slogan would be trust the process, right? But because people think, things will happen overnight, especially in this day and age. People follow me, think like, oh, this guy just gets everything, or I get told no 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't ever go to people with BS. Like, I'm like always like, hey, there's value here. Let's do this or let's do that. But you got to trust the process. You got to be willing to put the work in. There's no clear cut path with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so I have to pull from different industries. Like I pull from just regular businesses, corporations, the music industry, Hollywood, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I see what other creators around the country are doing. A lot of them have huge teams, and here in St. Louis and the Midwest, it's like hard finding and building those teams.
Yeah.
But trust the process, put in that work. Don't be afraid of change. Like we get so used to things, especially in like St. Louis and just Missouri, Midwest, people are so afraid of change.
Yeah.
But sometimes change is good. Research, like we have access to finding the answers to everything nowadays.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Or at least get direction, right? You can look up a recipe. Someone can say, make it like this.
Yeah.
We at least have a general understanding on that. So be curious, be yourself. I would also even say like embrace art. Like, I love going to like see live shows.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when I was younger, back when I used to first eat Rap Snacks, you wouldn't see me there. I was like, forget that. I'm too cool. But then like, you start thinking about it. You're like, wait, this person is hitting those notes every single night for 2 weeks at a time. They get like a few days off. They're back at it. That's every single time. Your favorite pop star, your favorite musician's not even doing that. These people are dancing to, and you can't mess up.
Yeah.
And like that kind of stuff like inspires me. Like, man, these people are like on their stuff. So why can't I? I think with what I do, there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
So just keep learning. I learn so much every day, and it just keeps taking me to new places. So
yeah. And I think for me, one of the most important things when starting off is that you have to over deliver. Like if someone is paying you to do $700 worth of content, when you're getting started, you literally have to like you got to cough up $1,000 worth of content.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's just the truth. Like in order to get the trust and the footprint out there, when you're starting off, you have to over deliver. I'm not saying over promise, because a lot of people find that thin line a mistake and they over promise and under deliver, but it's like, no. You have to promise and over deliver when you're getting started off, because that's what's really going to jumpstart you. Because like I know, like we've done some stuff together. Like over delivering shows that you are qualified to do what you're here to do. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that I had to do. Like growing up, like in this industry is cutthroat. Like in the kitchen, it's not sweet. It's not like, hey, can you please? It's like, no. Do this, and do this.
This is your job.
Yeah, this is your job. And it's cut, it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
But like for me, I had to over deliver because I was young. So I had to basically show people like, hey, I can do this. Like even though I may not have the qualifications to back up what I'm here to do, I'm in this position for a reason. You know what I mean? Like I showed up. That's one of the hardest things to do, is showing up.
Every day.
Yeah, like showing up every day.
Whether it's snowing or
literally showing up is literally one of the hardest things to do. And so if you're showing up, you have to over deliver when you're getting started. And even just in general, like even today, like someone may hire you to do something, you're going to over deliver because it's just you as a person. But that's also why you have been able to get to the point where you are, because you have shown up and you have over delivered. But no, I think that's great. What's next for you? What are people that are following you expected to see in this next year?
Oh, a lot of cool shit, man. If you're following me, like the thing is like, I can't stay stagnant.
Yeah.
I can't, and it's, I feel like in St. Louis, I've been able to do everything I've wanted to do. And I have really good partnerships I'm gonna keep here.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm about to be like, but I'm taking my talents to South Beach. I'm not gonna do that, but it's
He's on the road.
Man, the craziest thing is like a few weeks ago, like the work I did with Busch Stadium, Delaware North, the Cardinals there was presented in front of the front office and the owners of the MLB.
Wow.
Like the front office of MLB, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
And so, you know, there's this guy here in St. Louis that's creating this stuff that's being showcased to these billion-dollar organizations.
Yeah.
And there's other big entities that I have worked with that they see me, or, you know, even working with Dante, they see what we're doing.
Yeah.
So St. Louis is like really doing some things right now, whether or not people know it. And so it's all about capitalizing off those opportunities.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm not here to like BS them and just try to overpromise and underdeliver. It's like, what do you want? Like, I can talk your language. Like, it's not just, hey, we're going to get you these impressions and this many views. Like, that's all cute. Like, I can sell you. I'd tell people this, even companies, like, I can sell you on that. Or do you want like actual results? Like, if you want actual, at the end of the day, like, are you going to sell more of this? Or are you going to get more people in? Because at that point, when you're bringing more people in, like, I hate to say it, but you don't need me.
Yeah.
But it's, so yeah, that's kind of like a big roundabout way of, you know, with leaving the corporate job, it's diving more into Braden STL. You know, if you're a creator, you're an entrepreneur, know your value. I used to do so much stuff for free. I still do a lot for free, but sometimes, like, I think these companies, I don't know if they think I'm stupid or they just put me in the same like category as like other people. So like even on my media kit, I've broken down like, hey, you're just putting me as an influencer. Well, you put me on the influencer, it's this price. Do you need me to host something? That's a different price. Are you going to take photos and post it on your platform? Like I've broken all this stuff down. It's a business you have to learn about.
And I think that's one thing that most people mess up on when they get started is that, yes, it's social media. Yes, you can technically do it from home, but it's a business.
It is, yeah.
You're here to make money regardless, whether you're doing content for free. Like your bills need to get paid at the end of the day, and it's a business. So, like, on that note, like, what is one piece of advice that you would give an influencer that was once maybe in your position where you were at one point, that is trying to make what they're doing as a hobby into a business?
Stop doing everything for free. I mean, I would say, you know, with knowing your worth, coming up with your media kit and saying exactly what your value is. Because if like, let's say right now I'm working on a proposal. If I just say, hey, I can do your website, your social media, and marketing or whatever, it's all the same, I guess. But you're like, oh, okay. And you don't see the value if I say 5,000, 10,000, right? But if I break it down like to the T, like this, that, you know, because if someone comes to you and say, hey, I want, you know, 20% equity in Rated, you're like, what the heck? Get your, but like if they say, hey, but then I'm bringing in this, maybe we can, you know, become a chain. I can get you on all these shows. This is what it's going to increase your value. You're like, okay, I can do that. But yeah, for me, man, like know your worth, come up with that media kit. Say specifically what you can do and what makes you different. For me.
And I think, too, it's very important to know your bandwidth, too. Because, like, us as creative, we'll sign up for 1,000,001 things, but it's like, realistically, what do you have the bandwidth to sign on for? And
don't just, and I know I said it earlier, but also just being yourself. Whether you want to be an influencer or a restaurateur, be yourself. Be yourself. Don't be like everybody else. Don't do things for clout, you know, or chasing that and saying you're like, I always tell people like, because I'm legit just a normal guy. It's crazy. Like this whole social media world is just, it's nuts to me.
It is.
It's nuts Googling my name and all this stuff. Cause like, it's crazy, man.
No, it really is.
Good stuff. Nothing bad, but it's just crazy. But it's like at the end of the day, if you see my content and it inspires you to create, help local businesses, get back to the community, get you out of your house, hope you have a good day. Like I do a lot of free shit around Forest Park, the zoo, stuff like that. Like that's what I'm about. Just go live. I don't want you to spend your whole day, your whole night on your phone. Like I don't want that. Even though the algorithm stuff does.
No, I think this was great, Braden. I really appreciate your time. Where can people find you really quick?
So you guys can find me Braden STL, BRADEN STL, or one of the big things I'm working on this year, Opecast the pod. So we got a lot of that, but just follow me. I hope you leave inspired, and man, there's so much fun stuff coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This year and next year, man.
Yeah. I'm excited. Well, this was another episode of the Rated TK podcast. You guys can find all of Braden's information down below. If you guys enjoyed this video or learned anything, make sure you guys comment, leave a like down below, and we will see you guys in the next podcast. Thank you guys for joining us.